Today, we are diving deep into the Ford F-150. It's a name everyone knows, especially when you talk about towing. We've got a ton of material from you, articles, notes, research, all asking, essentially. Is the F-150 still the king of the hill for towing in its class, the half-ton segment? And look, it's not just about brute strength, though we'll definitely get into some pretty hefty numbers. It's more about how Ford blends the engineering, the tech, and, how it actually works in the real world. We think there's some surprises in here, some aha moments about what makes a modern truck truly capable. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and let's tackle that main question right away. Can it still tow pretty much anything you'd reasonably ask a half-ton truck to? The answer, based on everything we're seeing, is a definite yes. It absolutely holds its ground, and in some really key ways, it's still leading the pack. This isn't by accident, It's decades of Ford focusing on this comprehensive engineering idea. They build for capability, sure, but also for driver confidence.
Yeah.
And safety, making sure you feel in control. They've been doing this for years, constantly adding the latest tech to, well, enhance what the truck could always do.
Okay, that's a strong start. But, for people really looking at these trucks for, serious work or maybe towing a big travel trailer, the numbers matter a lot. So here's where it gets really interesting. What are those max ratings that define this dominance you're talking about?
Right, that's the bottom line, isn't it? Now, these numbers, they do depend on the specific setup, engine, cab, four-wheel drive or not, you know the drill. But the F-150's peak numbers consistently put it, well, right at the top of the half-ton class. We're talking a class-leading maximum conventional towing capacity of up to, get this, 14,000 pounds.
14,000? Wow.
Yeah. And payload is just as impressive, up to 3,325 pounds in the bed. And the fascinating thing, like you said, it's not just numbers on paper for bragging rights. This means you can actually do things, like tow a really big travel trailer, maybe 35 feet, or a hefty fifth wheel. The F-150 is spec'd for that. Or for work, pulling a compact excavator, a big trailer full of materials, it handles it.
So that 14,000 pounds isn't just theoretical. It means you're probably not going to hit a wall where the truck just can't handle a typical half-ton job.
Exactly. And that's a key difference compared to some rivals. They're capable trucks, no doubt about it, but they often peak just a little bit lower. And if you're someone who really pushes the limits, that extra 500 or 1,000 pounds the F-150 offers, that can be the difference between needing a heavy-duty truck or, staying comfortably within the half-ton category.
Okay, those are definitely some headline-grabbing numbers. But how does it actually do it? I mean, that kind of capability has to come from somewhere. It really boils down to the engines, right, and how they deliver that power. So walk us through the engine options that make this happen, the ones that are the real towing jams.
Precisely. Yeah, the power comes from under the hood, the F-150 hitting those numbers consistently. That's down to a really strong, diverse engine lineup. Now, pretty much all the engines can tow well, but there are a few standouts if towing is your main game. First up, you've got the 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6, the twin-turbo one. A lot of people consider this the king of F-150 towing. Why? It's got massive low-end torque.
Torque being that twisting force, right? The power you feel immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Available almost right away at low engine speeds. And that is just essential for getting a heavy load moving smoothly from a stop. No struggling. It keeps pulling strong right through the rev range. That's why it's often the go-to for people towing near the truck's max limits frequently.
Makes sense. What else?
And there's the 3.5L PowerBoost Full Hybrid V6. This one's really interesting, kind of a game changer. It takes that powerful EcoBoost V6 and pairs it with an electric motor.
A hybrid F-150. How does that help with towing?
Well, the electric motor gives you instant torque, like right from 0 RPM. So it adds this immediate boost for acceleration, makes passing with a big trailer feel, well, surprisingly easy. But maybe the even bigger deal for a lot of users is the Pro Power onboard generator system.
Ah, right. The outlets in the bed.
Yeah, but it's serious power. We're talking kilowatts, enough to run a job site, power a campsite, tailgating.
Yeah.
It has this whole other layer of usefulness beyond just pulling stuff.
Utility is definitely the word there. Okay, any other key players?
And then, of course, you've got the 5.0L Tie VCT V8. The classic V8. Still super popular. It's got that traditional V8 power delivery that sound people love. Maybe it doesn't have the absolute peak torque of the EcoBoost down low, but it's a proven, really reliable workhorse. Great for towing, delivers solid performance, especially if you're hauling heavy for long periods.
So a strong lineup of engines there, catering to different preferences and needs, but the engine's just part one, right? How does all that power get put down effectively, especially when you've got thousands of pounds hooked up behind you? What about the transmission?
Good question. Crucial piece of the puzzle. You can have all the power in the world, but if you can't transmit it smoothly. So all these F-150 engines, they're paired with a 10-speed automatic transmission.
10 speeds. That seems like a lot.
It is, but it's smart. It's not just about more gears, it's about having the right gear for the moment. It helps keep the engine right in its sweet spot, its most efficient power band, whether you're pulling away from a light with a trailer or just cruising on the highway trying to save fuel. It makes the shifts smooth and responsive, which really helps both towing performance and, fuel economy when you're not towing.
Okay, that covers the muscle and the mechanics really well. But you mentioned earlier, it's not just about brute force anymore, it's about being smart. So let's talk about the tech. What does all this smart technology actually do for the driver? How does it make towing less of a headache? Maybe safer too? Because let's be honest, backing up a 30-foot trailer can be pretty intimidating for a lot of people.
Yeah, and this is where the F-150, I think, really shines and puts some distance between itself and competitors.
Yeah.
It's where that confidence and safety idea really comes to life. Modern towing, like you said, it's as much about the intelligence baked into the truck as it is about the raw power. Ford has this suite of towing tech that, honestly, transforms the experience. It makes handling big trailers way less stressful, whether you're a total newbie or you've been towing for years.
Okay, like, give me some examples.
All right, first one, Pro Trailer Backup Assist. This thing is kind of revolutionary, seriously. It makes backing up a trailer almost foolproof. You don't use the steering wheel. There's a little knob on the dash.
A knob?
Yeah, you watch the camera view on the screen, and you turn the knob left or right, the direction you want the trailer to go. The truck figures out the steering inputs and does it automatically.
Whoa, so no more crossing your arms and trying to remember which way to turn the wheel?
Exactly. It takes away all that mental gymnastics, that frustration. Makes parking a big rig in a tight campsite spot actually doable without wanting to tear your hair out.
Okay, I can see how that would lower the stress levels. What else?
Then there's Pro Trailer Hitch Assist. This helps with hooking up. It uses the cameras and sensors to automatically steer the truck, lining the hitch ball up perfectly under the trailer coupler.
So no need for a spotter shouting left, right, stop.
Pretty much eliminates it. You can basically hook up a big trailer by yourself first try in just a minute or two. Huge time saver, huge stress reducer.
Okay, that's clever. What about knowing if you're overloaded?
Ah, yes. Onboard Scales with Smart Hitch. This is brilliant. It's basically built-in scales. It tells you the approximate payload weight in the bed right on the truck screen or your phone. And crucially for towing, when you hook up a trailer, it estimates the tongue weight.
Tongue weight being how much the trailer is pressing down on the hitch.
Exactly. And getting that right, usually 10–15% of the total trailer weight, is critical for stability. Too light or too heavy, and you risk dangerous trailer sway. This system helps you know if your load is balanced and within safe limits. Huge peace of mind.
Definitely. Any core safety systems we should mention?
Yeah, absolutely. Can't forget the basics, which are now pretty advanced too. Things like the integrated trailer brake controller. Lets you adjust and apply the trailer's own brakes independently from the truck's brakes. Essential for smooth, controlled stops with a heavy load. And trailer sway control. This uses the truck's stability control sensors to detect if the trailer starts to sway, maybe from wind or uneven roads. If it detects sway, it can automatically apply specific brakes or reduce engine power slightly to bring it back in line. It works subtly in the background to keep things stable.
It really sounds like they've thought about removing the major pain points and anxieties around towing. For you listening, whether you tow every day for work or just occasionally for fun, these features seem designed to make it feel, well, manageable and secure, building that confidence.
That's exactly it. And if you zoom out, connect it all to the bigger picture. What does this all mean day to day? It means the F-150 is ready for a massive range of real-world jobs, making them feel easier than you might expect. Think about that family towing their big camper across the country. They know the truck has the power for mountains, the stability for highways, and the tech to help them park it. Or the contractor pulling that heavy skid steer through city traffic, using the cameras, feeling that instant torque from the EcoBoost or hybrid, or, a farmer loading up hay using the onboard scales to make sure it's safe before driving across bumpy fields. It's the combination, the power, the stability, the smart tech working together that makes these tough tasks feel, well, less tough. It empowers more people to tow confidently.
That really paints a clear picture. But okay, we know Ford isn't alone here. You've got the Ram 1500, Chevy Silverado, Toyota Tundra, all very capable trucks. So for someone trying to decide, how does the F-150 really stack up against those competitors beyond just hitting that top number? Are the others catching up fast?
That's a fair question, and yeah, the competition is fierce. Ram, Chevy, Toyota, they all build excellent trucks. Let's be clear about that. And honestly, on paper, especially in certain configurations, they get very close on max towing and payload numbers. Sometimes it's just a few hundred pounds difference. But where the F-150 often maintains an edge, I think, is in that overall utility and the ease of use factor. It's the ecosystem around the truck. A lot of that comes down to those unique, innovative features we talked about, especially Pro Power Onboard and Pro Trailer Backup Assist.
So it's less about just raw capacity and more about the clever features.
I mean, that's a big part of it. Think about Pro Power Onboard again. For a contractor needing mobile power, or even just for serious camping or tailgating, that's a massive practical advantage that, well, rivals are still working to match effectively. Or for the RVer, Pro Trailer Backup Assist just makes life so much easier. It lowers the barrier to entry for towing big trailers. It kind of raises the point that Ford isn't just chasing the highest number on a spec sheet. They seem really focused on user-centered innovation, making the truck genuinely more useful and easier to live with day to day. It suggests they understand that the future isn't just raw power, it's about smart, integrated capability, pushing everyone else to think beyond just the numbers.
All right, so wrapping this up, the big question. Can the F-150 still tow pretty much anything you'd expect a half-ton to handle? The answer seems to be a clear yes. It hasn't lost its edge. If anything, it's evolved. It still has the muscle, but now it's got more brains, better efficiency, and tech that, frankly, makes complex tasks simpler. It's still setting a high bar.
Absolutely. It manages to be that dependable workhorse, that capable family adventure vehicle, and yes, a top-tier towing machine all rolled into one. It really reinforces its reputation as a truck that works smarter, not just harder, in pretty much every sense. Still a powerhouse.
So here's something to think about as we finish up. How is this blend, this mix of old-school V8 power options alongside cutting-edge hybrids and intelligent towing assists changing what we even expect a vehicle to be capable of? Not just for towing, but for everything we do with our trucks day in and day out. What does true capability look like now, and where does it go next?